Okay, chapter 20, Tillim. Big deal yesterday, an American boy in New Jersey, been held captive for the last 2.5 years, was released. I didn't see the news. What condition is he in? Let's hope he's okay. They say he's not the only American left in captivity, but the others they're afraid any others are no longer alive. Lam Natseya Misma Ledovi. Yancha Adonai B'Yem Tzara. Hashem should answer us on the day of distress. Yisagev Hashem Elohei Yankev, the name of the God of Jacob should support you. Yishal Rezoham B'Kodesh, he should send help from his holy chamber. Umitziyen Yisadeka. Holy chamber is a room called the Holy Room in the Beis HaMikdash. That's what it's referring to. Yizkir kol min chaysecha. He should recall all of your offerings. Oilasecha v'yadash nasela. They should be graciously accepted. Yiten lecha chil vavecha, and he should grant your heart's requests. V'chol atzasecha yamale, and he should give you the strength to fulfill all your good resolutions. L'rananam b'shuasecha, we will let us rejoice in the salvation of God. Uv'shem Eloheinu nidgil, and we'll raise the banner of Hashem on high. Yamali Adonai kol mishalesecha. Hashem should fulfill all your requests. Ata yadaiti, now I know. Ki hishia Adonai Mashiach, Hashem saves his anointed one. Ya'anehu mishmei kodshe. He answers him, he will answer him from his holy heavens. Yigvures, with might, Yesha, salvation, Yimine, from his right hand. Elev rechav, elev asusim. Sometimes our enemies come with their chariots, their tanks, their armored vehicles. Elev asusim, they come with their cavalry, like the Cossacks on horseback. Or with flying air devices, drones, and who knows what else, missiles. We come with the name of God on our lips. Him akaru and follow, they slipped and fell. And they say that we got up and we're standing strong. 3,375 years. 3,337 years. 37. 37 and 48 is 85. That's the year we're in now. 5785. Adonai Hashem Melech Yaneinu V'Yem Kareinu. Hashem should save us on the day that we call on to him. Chapter 15, a new chapter. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Special blessing this afternoon is going to rain. The world needs rain. It's not going to rain too hard. Chapter 15 should be easy because we've discussed the ideas of chapter 15 many times. So far we understand the different categories by which we analyze the Jewish people. There are righteous people, there are not righteous people, and there are average people in between. And we understand that the righteous people, the tzaddikim, are are in control of their heart. Their Yetzer Hara is totally out of the picture. However, the control is not 100%. There's a tiny little bit of the Yetzer Hara left, but it's out of commission. It's not doing anything. It's powerless. It's like a criminal that's been put away in some high security prison. Has no practical effect on your person's life. It's just that his righteousness is still not complete because he hasn't transformed this little bit of negativity in him into complete positivity. And that's how we understand what it says, that there are tzaddikim gamurim, complete tzaddikim, and not complete tzaddikim. Those who serve Hashem with great love, who are very few, and those who serve Hashem with love, but not the greatest possible love. They still have, it's like mountain climbers. When a climber climbs a mountain, what does he want to do when he succeeds? Go back down. And then what does he want to do? He wants to climb another mountain, more difficult. I once went online looking for images of people, of mountain climbers, and discovered it's a whole, how should I say, a lot of people who aren't content just to climb mountains. They want to do it without any help, without special shoes, without special ropes, without all the devices that people use to conquer mountains. And they climb up very steep cliffs with nothing, just with their bare hands and feet. Sometimes men, sometimes women. Goodness gracious. Very dangerous. If you fall, it's but there they are. I see pictures of them doing it. So that's what happens when a person gets to be very, very high up on the level of climbing mountains. He wants to climb even more difficult mountains. And similarly, we can learn from everything. Baal Shem Tov says, from everything we see and hear, we can learn. Similarly, in spiritual terms, a person achieves control over his Yetzer Hara and banishes the Yetzer Hara from having any practical effect in his life. He wants to go even further. He wants to completely transform the Yetzer Hara into a Yetzer Tov. And that's the difference between a tzaddik who's a complete tzaddik and a tzaddik who's not a complete tzaddik. Someone who has immense, overwhelming love, and someone whose love is powerful, but not on that great level of great love. Or a new term that we're using recently is love of delights. Ava is love, but tanugim. You have food on the market called tanug. This food is delightful food. Ava b'tanugim, that a person's love of Hashem is so great that his whole delight is only in doing things connected with Hashem. And the opposite is that such a person finds anything that's not connected with Hashem disgusting, revolting, makes him nauseous. A Rasha is someone who disobeys clear rulings of Jewish law, whether they are big things or even little things or even customs instituted for the Jewish people, which have become accepted. And this can be very, very subtle, very subtle. On the not obvious, terrible things. We're not talking about stealing or murdering or committing, violating some of the sanctity of someone's marriage. These are big things. So we're talking about little things, any little thing that a person doesn't follow the rulings of the Shulchan Aruch, that person is categorized as a wicked person. The righteous person doesn't want to even hear about it. He's not going there. The Beinoni, the average person, in betweener, he doesn't do these negative things, but he's tempted. He would like to. So we've discussed this hundreds of times. So now the Alter Rebbe is going to take this up to the next level. Because until now we think that a person who is righteous is a person who does the right thing, and a person who's not righteous, a person does the wrong thing. The Alter Rebbe is going to say no. These two levels between right and wrong exist in tzaddikim and in beinanim both. How can that be? So here we go, page 221, chapter 15, a new chapter. We should be able to maybe. Hi, thank you for coming. Thank you for not being shy. Come in, even though it's late. The best thing to do. Okay, we're just starting chapter 15. You're just in time. Well, b'zeh yuben masha kasuf, and now we can understand that which it says in the prophet Malachi. Who was Malachi? I don't know. Sorry to say. I'm not really knowledgeable in this area. So now you can understand between a righteous person and a wicked person. Well, isn't that obvious? Bein Oved Elokim, between someone who serves God. Oved is someone who serves God. Lasher lei avadu, a person who doesn't serve God. So you would think the person who doesn't serve God, that's the wicked person. Turn the page. He begins to explain. The difference between Oved Elokim, a person who serves God, like the root of the word Oved is Eved, a servant. Who is the greatest servant of God? Moshe Rabbeinu. Oh, there's a parsha Mishpatim begins with the laws of a Jewish slave, a person who, because of either he stole things and he didn't have money to pay back, is obviously a poor person, or he just can't support his family and therefore goes and indentures himself to a wealthy person. He's going to serve them for 6 years. And they don't have to pay him. You just have to take care of him, give him a place to sleep, give him food, and he will work for them. So he sells himself into slavery. And there are laws, but it's a limited slavery. It only is for 6 years. 7th year, he goes free. So that is the Jewish slave. And it's a whole category of laws in Jewish law. But Hasidus understands that the Jewish slave par excellence is Moshe Rabbeinu. Who is his master? Hashem. He's devoted to his master. And that's the meaning of the words in the Zohar, the chapters of the Zohar entitled Raya Mehemna. Raya Mehemna means the faithful shepherd. That's Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay, so now back into the text of this chapter. The one who serves Hashem is the Eved, and the righteous person is the Tzaddik. And there's a difference between them. What's the difference? That the person who is an Eved is one who is serving Hashem actively. He's still in active service. Shehi, second paragraph, page 222. Shehi hamilchama im hayetzer hara. We're talking here about the person who is struggling with the yetzer hara. That sounds like the Beinoni. With his gaber alav, he's struggling to overcome the yetzer hara. Ulagorshe me'ayir kitana, and to expel him, to chase him out of the city, which is his life, the small city. Here he says it's his body. And you have two armies fighting over this, which is the army of the godly soul and the animal soul. Shalei yislabesh be'evri haguf, and the struggle is that the negativity of the animal soul, which is from Klippus Noga, should not have any dominion over the person in his life. And this is a constant battle. Bottom of the page, 1, 2, 3, fourth paragraph, second from the last on the page. Shehu ve'emes avoida. There's a big task, tremendous task. Amal, and very, very hard. Amal godol, a tremendously difficult task in life. Lehilochem bei tamid, to be struggling with the yetzer hara, with the animal soul, all one's days. Never winning. Struggling and never winning. Like the existentialists write about this in France from the 20th century, existentialists. Sartre and Camus, these writers, that they glorify the struggle and not the victory. Because there are people who are never victorious. But the struggle goes on. And there's no redemption. So that leads to a whole school of thought and literature called the absurd. People do things and they don't have, in previous generations to that, earlier centuries before that, when people were religious, so the struggle was worthwhile because a person struggling to do good will be rewarded for his struggles in a holy manner. And the theater of the absurd says, no, we're not religious. We don't have that carrot to inspire us that we're going to go to heaven. And then we will have eternal bliss. So we don't believe in that. That's nonsense. We have only this life, and whatever we do is what we have. There is no reward. So what do we do? What's the point of what we're doing? What's the point of what we're doing? It's absurd. That's right. We fool ourselves, and the philosophers conclude, no, you're not fooling yourself. What you're doing is itself your accomplishment. That's the ultimate worth of your life. And of course, Hasidus takes him further and says, no. On the contrary, it's more than that. Because when you do a good thing, you make the world a better place. You do, even if you don't see the results. But there's more goodness being broadcast, being promulgated, being achieved, and it changes the nature of the world we live in. For instance, to give you an example from the Torah. After the flood, the great flood, right? 4,000 years ago, there was a great flood. There's evidence of this flood in every culture and every folklore, every literature in the world speaks about it. How do they all know? Because it happened. And after the flood, the Torah tells us that Hashem put a sign in the heavens that his promise, he won't make another flood. And that promise was, the sign was the rainbow. Why was there never a rainbow before that? So one of the reasons is because the atmosphere was still unrefined. That's what Hasidus says. The atmosphere was unrefined. So that what's necessary to create a rainbow is you need to have a clear atmosphere with drops of water vapor and sunlight. And the sunlight passing through these drops bends and creates, it's a natural explanation of the rainbow, and creates the colors in the sky. What changed in the atmosphere? The flood. The flood purified it, like a person who takes a shower. The flood purified the world of the selfishness, self-centeredness, and the cruelty of the people who lived at those times. And we moved into a new world, a world with new and more refined sensitivity. So similarly, every good thing we do is like the flood. It brings more holiness into the atmosphere. And it makes a change. And people who are holy people, tzaddikim, sensitive, they can feel the change and see the change. And they see it in other people. So you see a person who does a lot of mitzvahs has a much more refined countenance, a much more refined way of carrying himself or herself, an internal dignity, a feeling of righteousness and holiness. Some people have been sensitive to see this in the Rebbe, to see the brilliance of the shine of the Rebbe's face. You know, one time, it was in 1977, I believe. I think it was 1977. Yud Shvat. A lot of people came to celebrate Yud Shvat by the Rebbe. It was a very, very large crowd. Many special people, dignitaries, wealthy people, shluchim, Hasidim from all over. And the Rebbe came in. Everybody was waiting for the Rebbe to come in. They were singing. The Rebbe came in, and he was very happy. It was obvious he was very, very happy. He was like shining with happiness. And came in, and they parted for him, and he was up on the bimah, and then he took his chair, pulled back the red chair, and sat down in it. A friend of mine had shown up, one of the people who I was very close with when I lived in England. Rabbi Telsner is now chief rabbi in England, in Australia, in Melbourne. And I said to him, come, the place was packed. I said, you can squeeze in right here. So we had a good place to stand in front of the Rebbe. And he's when the Rebbe came in like that, he said, went like that, no doubt about it. We have a gorgeous Mashiach. A classical comment. Never heard words like that from anybody else. He said, we have a gorgeous Mashiach. The Rebbe, if you want to know what Malchus is all about, anybody with eyes could just see the way the Rebbe came in on that day, that moment. Was like it was like a king coming into his throne room. It was beautiful. It was very beautiful. So the point is that we saw with our eyes, and the Rebbe saw with his eyes, that it was sensitive to the holiness that was being generated. And Hasidus talks about it when in Pirkei Avos, when 10 Jews get together, they learn Torah together. Even angels cannot stand in their presence. They generate so much holiness. So every good thing that you do has an effect in the world. And the struggle with the Yetzer Hara is not absurd, but it could be that that's our designated lot in life. So that's what we're here for. We are here to fight that fight, and to struggle that struggle. Okay, page 122. So serving Hashem, second paragraph, consists of struggling against one's evil nature. And the idea is we want to overpower it and chase it out of its lair in its hideout in the left side of our heart. so that it should not influence us in action, in word, in speech, in thoughts. And there's a constant battle that entails, that requires great effort. That is the Beinoni. We've described that many times, right? It's all familiar. Page 223. The tzaddik, on the other hand, is called not an oved. So the oved means a person who is serving. An eved is a person who is a servant. Is a servant serving? Yeah, he's serving, but he's not struggling anymore. There's no more struggle. Like so many of you girls are on that level. You've overcome. You've had your struggles and you won, and you're here. So he says here, this is like a person who has achieved a title. You know, the champion ping pong player, the champion gymnast, the champion basketball team. They are the champions. So similarly, second paragraph, Shem Chacham, we have the idea of a wise person. The wise person is the Chacham. He is wise. He's not struggling to become wise. He is already wise. He has completed that struggle. Shekvar Naseh Chacham, or a person who is the Prince Charles, when his mother was still alive, was a prince of potential. Now he's not a prince anymore. He's a king. What will he achieve as a king? Well, it remains to be seen. But he's not fighting to achieve what he has to, what he wants to. Kach ze kvar avad. So we're now talking about a person who has already finished his service of Hashem. Like he did his stint in the army, he behaved with great heroism, and now he became a general. A general doesn't have to struggle. He doesn't have struggles anymore. On the contrary, he shows other people how to struggle. Okay, so third paragraph. Kach ze kvar avad. This person now that we're talking about, and the prophet is talking about, is Gamar legamri avodas hamilchama. He's finished with the war. He's retired from the war. Milchama im hara, the war with the evil side of him. Ad kivi garshehu, he has chased it out of his being. V'yelech loy, and it went. Again, referring back to chapter 1, David HaMelech says, my heart is slain within me. Hollow, the word hollow, the key word there. In Hebrew, the word hollow means a corpse. Someone who is dead person. It's a hollow. The word hollow also means hollow, empty. My heart is empty. What does that mean? It means he got rid of the Yetzer Hara from the left side of his heart. So we had a problem here that the tzaddik and the person who serves Hashem, the Oved Elokim, one who is serving God, and the person who has served God seem to be the same thing. The Alter Rebbe is saying, no, they're not the same thing. Because it could be that the tzaddik, who is an incomplete tzaddik, is still working at his service of Hashem, and the complete tzaddik is not working at it anymore. He's already there. So it's not two separate levels. It's not a repetition. It's two separate levels. In righteousness, there are two levels. The person who's completely righteous and the person who is not yet completely righteous, but he is still in the state of struggling. His struggle is not the struggle of the Beinoni. The Beinoni is struggling not to do evil. His struggle, the struggle of the incomplete tzaddik, is to convert any negative on a very, very refined level, to convert any negativity to positive forces and influences that should propel him to do even more good and even more good and even more good. And now he's going to take this a step further. Now let's move up further. Move into another section from the bottom of page 223. That even in the level of the Beinoni, we have also two levels of a person who serves Hashem and one who doesn't serve Hashem. Now, how can that be? The person who serves Hashem, we understand, that's what we always said, is the Beinoni, the one who is actively struggling to serve Hashem. How could the Beinoni be someone who doesn't serve Hashem? Page 224. Because if he's not serving Hashem, doesn't that mean he's wicked? That's how we understood on page 1 of this chapter. Alter says no. In the simplest way of understanding it, yeah, that means a person who does mitzvahs, and a person who is wicked, he doesn't do mitzvahs. A person that neglects to say Kriya Shema on time is a wicked person. He didn't do the mitzvah that was incumbent upon him to say Shema in the morning and the evening, in the proper time. But here he's saying no. This person does say Shema in the proper time. He does all the mitzvahs in the right way. And yet he can be considered, even though he does mitzvahs the whole time, learns Torah the whole time, but he can be considered someone who's not serving God. How could that be? So the answer is page 2224, paragraph 2. Kilei avar miyamav shum avera kala. He never in his whole life did a transgression, even a little transgression. V'gam kiyem kol hamitzvahs, and he has fulfilled every mitzvah that came to his hands. It was possible for him to do, he did it. The Salmud Torah Keneged Kulam, and the mitzvah of learning Torah weighs against all the other mitzvahs. So he's not negligent in this area either. You might think, well, the person who serves Hashem is the complete tzaddik, and the person who doesn't serve Hashem is a righteous person. He doesn't do any transgressions, but maybe it means he's not up to par in his observance of all the mitzvahs. Maybe he's missing out. He's not fulfilling all of them as well as he could. And the Alter Rebbe is saying, no, he is fulfilling the mitzvahs as well as he could. And even the very difficult mitzvah of learning Torah day and night, which means every single second, this is a hard one, girls. You have to fasten your seatbelt for this. That the husband in Mitzvah Shem you'll marry, he's going to be like this. He's going to learn Torah the whole time. Every spare minute, he's going to be learning Torah. Doesn't mean he won't stop learning Torah in order to talk to you. That's also a mitzvah. The person who's doing one mitzvah is exempt from doing another mitzvah. So he's not going to be like a machine, just learning without any human life in it. No, but this mitzvah of learning as much as possible, he is doing. So why is he called somebody who's not serving Hashem? The Rebbe answers an extraordinary answer here, and I think it's not an easy answer to internalize. What are we talking about? We're talking about the war with the Yetzer Hara. This is a person who has no war with his Yetzer Hara. And yet he's a Beinoni. He's not struggling to overpower the Yetzer Hara and drive it out of his body so that it should not influence any of the garments. He should not take control. He's not allowing it to take control of any of the garments of his body, not what he does, not what he says, not what he thinks. It should not enclose itself in any of the faculties of his physical being. This constant battle, bottom of page 222, Shahu be'emes avodah v'amal gadol. This is truthfully, a very, very difficult way of serving God, a very difficult level of serving God. And it's obviously a righteous person. And from our point of view, he will seem way beyond us, beyond our capability. But from the Alter Rebbe's point of view, he's not. Alter Rebbe can understand it and tell us that this person could be a tzaddik. So why isn't he struggling? Not only why is he not struggling, how can we say that he's a Beinoni? Well, page 223. We'll finish up to the mark at the bottom of the page. Okay. The tzaddik, Aval HaTzaddik, Nikra Eved Hashem. The tzaddik is, like we said before, the tzaddik is the champion. He's the best, and he's the top level. So he got to this level of being called a servant. Just like the second paragraph, Kamei Shem Chacham, like a wise person is called a Chacham. Not that he's struggling to be wise, he is wise. Not a person is not like the king is still a wannabe, someone who hopes and achieves that eventually he could become king. He has become king. He is the king. So the term Chacham or Melech, these are descriptive terms of the person himself, but he's not fighting a war. The war is for the Beinoni. Shekvar Nasa Chacham or Melech, this person is already a wise person. Kach Ze Kvar Avad V'Gamar L'Gamri Avedase, this person has already served and he has conquered his Yetzer Hara. He has been victorious in the war, Im Hara, the war he's fought against the evil inclination. Ad Kivi Garshehu, he has chased it out of his life. V'yelech loy, and it's gone. V'live hal b'kirbe, and his heart is a hollow within him. So now we have two levels in the tzaddik. We have the level of the tzaddik who is struggling to improve and to move on ever higher. He still didn't climb Everest. At the top of Everest, it's very hard to move even an inch. Everything is against you. The weather, the terrible storms. And we have a level of someone who doesn't serve Hashem because he has served Hashem. So we have two levels. The one who is actively serving and the one who does not serve Hashem because he got there. Two levels, serving and not serving, in the level of tzaddikim. Now, it's going to take it to the next level, take the whole discussion one step higher to the Beinoni. On the level of the Beinoni, we have also one who serves God and one who doesn't serve God. How can we talk about a Beinoni as someone who doesn't serve God? I told you this is going to be hard to understand. The Alter is going to give explanations, but it's not entirely, it's very difficult to internalize. At least in my humble opinion. Okay. Thank you all for coming. We'll look forward to continuing in this discussion tomorrow. Bezras Hashem.
Thank you, Rabbi Pape.
Oh, Rebbetzin Simcha.
Boker Tov.
Thanks for joining us. Please come tomorrow.
Of course. Thank you. Have a great day.
I give you all a blessing with whatever powers are vested in me to bless, that you should all continue striving in your learning and your davening, your serving Hashem. You should all be in the level of those who are actively serving, struggling, achieving, and you should have good health physically. This is a month of healing, as Hashem prepares the Jewish people to receive the Torah on Mount Sinai. He transforms us with the man and the water and the clouds of glory into a nation of priests and Memlechas Kayanim, and a holy nation. You should all be well physically and spiritually to serve Hashem with simcha, with tuv levav, with simcha, with joy and full hearts. You should say after bracha on the bonus. Thanks for being here, everybody. Without you here, I have no class. Once you're here, we could say this is a class act.